Why did she think they could find a way to survive? She responded that even so, she wouldn't wait for death to come. She would do everything possible to survive, no matter what. The man then said that in her eyes, you could see she still had a reason to live. But then she looked to the side and saw a monster staring at the three of them. He was shocked and told them to run. However, Horror was paralyzed and her leg was trembling. The man hugged the creature and told them to run, saying he had no reason to live anymore. But when he looked to the side, no one was there. But two girls were already running. He muttered that they could have at least waited for his speech. With that, he started screaming. While on the other side, people were hacking at the creature with axes. The rest of the group was lying on the ground. The girl in the suit attacked the creature. But its wounds regenerated instantly. The monster lifted the man and she fell against the wall. Certain it was impossible to win. But the protagonist walked past her. Everyone was wondering what he was thinking of doing and where he was going. The plant monster was still killing everyone using the boss's body. The girl in the ground wondered if he was really going to face it. Seeing the creature, she knew it was like asking to die since even the boss had no chance. The protagonist calmly observed the attack. With the tentacles approached, he dodged and advanced. He grabbed the sides and pulled the monster while throwing himself forward. The monster tried to hit the back of his neck, but he jumped off the wall, backward and landed on the other side, creating a knot between them. He looked at the man who commanded the monsters to attack. But since the creature was tied up, it couldn't reach him anymore. His movements had caused the monster to get tangled up in itself. Calmly, he approached the boss and tore the creature off him. The doctor couldn't believe he had stopped the monster. The girl said it didn't matter because the boss was still alive. With that, the monster screamed and the others turned to it. He threw the creature to the ground in the giant advance. As the monster came to by him, he jumped and met it in the chin. Then slid under its arms. The other creature opened its belly to eat him. However, he just jumped dodging the attack and landed on its back. He pulled out the axe he had earlier, but the creature sprayed blood in his face. It then went for an elbow strike that landed solidly. The people were shocked, but the protagonist was still alive. The doctor had no idea how that was possible. To them, this creature had immense strength and the ability to regenerate. Fighting it was basically suicide. Yet that boy in front of them was standing and fighting alone. The protagonist remembered his father's words. There is no being in this world that doesn't die. Everything that exists needs a source. A Tao life begins and that's what must be cut off. His father always believed that if it were him fighting the monsters, he would know exactly where the life of each one resided and more importantly, how to destroy their cause. The monsters attacked and he dodged them both. He knew exactly where the life of each one resided and more importantly, how to destroy their cause. He struck directly at the creature's core and the attack hit the nucleus. The creature started to disintegrate, its form breaking down as it lost its strength and life. And do you all remember that the last chapter ended right at the moment? When she landed the blow on the core, concentrated and fell to the ground like a ball. The people around were all shocked, mouths wide open, wondering how the kid managed to kill that monster. That's when suddenly, Haru and the little girl came running down the hallway. The little girl looked back and told her the monster was coming. Haru didn't know what to do, so she just kept running. But right as she turned the corner, she noticed something waiting for her. A huge crocodile-like creature chewing on someone's foot, and to make things worse, she tripped on a rock but managed to roll away. The creature stared at her, and she slowly looked back at it, growing desperate, unsure of what to do. She closed her eyes and when she opened them again, she was already running away. She suddenly appeared stumbling to the ground again, confused and passed by Huang. She slid to a stop and finally realized she was safe. The others were shocked she had survived, at least she didn't seem to have any visible injuries. However, as soon as she relaxed for a second, the guy with glasses asked something. He wanted to know where the child who had left with her was. It was only then that Haru realized she had let go of the little girl's hand. They heard a scream, and when they looked back, the girl was standing there with the creature on her back, calling out to Haru and asking where she was. The man tried to run to save her, but another creature was already coming from behind. As the monster approached, he rushed forward. Haru blamed herself for abandoning the girl. When the monster was about to touch the child's head, a guy with a mohawk yelled and struck the creature on the back. Everyone was shocked as he grabbed the little girl and leaped to the side. He stood up and asked where that monster thought it was looking. He pondered it to come closer, saying it was about to lose an eye. But strangely, the creature changed direction. The guy wondered if the beast was scared of him. Someone else was approaching, and Huang said that was probably not the case, but he shouldn't assume since he wasn't seeing what was happening there. The protagonist was already fighting the monster, and Huang mentioned that the reason they were safe was all thanks to that person. Once again, he finished off another creature, making it 2 in total. The problem was that as soon as he looked to the side, another one appeared and almost landed a punch on him. He managed to dodge and realized that that moment 2 more creatures had shown up. The initial plan was to deal with one monster and find a safe place. However, the number of creatures he was facing kept increasing, and unlike the earlier monsters, these didn't seem to have a blind spot. If you missed an attack, even by a centimeter, it could be fatal. Not to mention, if you took too long, more creatures might appear. The issue was that he would eventually get tired, which would only decrease his chances of survival. That's when he had an idea. He wondered why he didn't just run away. Escaping from these creatures would be much easier than fighting them. He could probably find a base to hide relatively easily, but he knew that if he wasn't there, the humans in that place would all die. Still, what did they have to do with him? There was no reason for him to be fighting for these people. After all, humans were the enemy. Then he remembered the woman who had died. He froze for a second and suddenly the giant crocodile-like creature was coming from behind. In that moment, he realized he had made a mistake by letting his guard down. The attack hit him squarely on the back, throwing him to the ground. He stood up in agony as the monster approached, and it seemed that even his normally armored body was injured from the blow. The creature continued approaching as he writhed in agony, until someone stepped in front of him. The Mohawk guy stood in his way and told him to relax, saying he handled it. He asked if the boy really knew a way to kill the monsters. But before the protagonist could answer, a guy smiled, and said he just wanted to know how he could help in the fight. Another person raised a shield. It was the glasses guy who said he helped too. He explained it was because he saw the girl was in danger and decided to risk his life for her. However, the protagonist didn't understand why they were helping him. He kept asking himself why humans were acting this way. He was certain humans were enemies and saw no reason for them to assist him. But the Mohawk guy simply answered, "So everyone can survive." The boy was surprised by this response, and the glasses guy chimed in, saying the Mohawk guy was right. If these monsters killed him, everyone there would die. He stretched out his hands and said that's why it's better for them to work together. The protagonist was taken aback for a second, but that he changed his expression and stepped away from the guy's arm. He didn't want to trust humans at all. However, he was sure they'd do whatever it took to survive. So he calmed down and focused. Then he told them to distract the creatures. If the humans there truly wanted to survive, there was no reason for them to betray him. The giant crocodile started running toward them again, and the Mohawk guy, excited, said, "Finally it's coming," while the boy focused. Now with all these injuries, he had to finish this even faster. He dashed past the crocodile, and as it turned to look at him, it took it to the head. The biker asked where the monster thought it was looking and declared himself its opponent. Meanwhile, the protagonist kept advancing. His first target was to take down the creature in the back, but as he approached, the hole in the middle of the beast began to glow. He sensed danger was approaching and suddenly a laser shot out. He managed to duck, but one blast burned his axe. He knew that if it hit his body, it would be fatal, but he got it and kept advancing. The creature started firing repeatedly, and he dodged each shot, gradually closing the distance. He got close enough to strike with his axe, but tentacles sprouted from the creature's back, aiming for his ribs. Somehow, he leaped just in time to avoid the attack and grab onto one mid-air. He used the monster's own attack as leverage to get closer. Right in the